Yes, it's that time again. We're back, people. We're back, talking points, regular time, 8 o'clock, hopefully every Thursday. We're into the season. It's begun. Let's do this.
It's just different.
Hello and welcome to PRTv, PRTv. I am Spurs for Life, and this is episode number 102, Talking Points. I'm trying to get what the title is. It's just uploading because I hadn't quite got the overlay there. Here we go. What's it been like for you? Could mean anything. Could mean anything. So we'll get into what we're talking about. What's it been like for you over these last few weeks? The season is upon us. We are one game in. Lots to talk about. Harry Kane's gone, but we knew that was going to happen eventually. But we seem to have, and I'm liking it, we seem to have our Tottenham back, or at least another version of Spurs. And to talk about it with myself, we have these two gentlemen. Put you on the wrong thingy there, but it's all good. Sid Spurs and Sean Hurl, Tottenham Tifiso. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Doing all right. Doing okay. So far, so good.
In a good place, yeah.
That's good. I'm still sorting out bits and pieces in the background, but that's all good because we can do all this. So before we start the stream, make sure you smash a like. Also hit the subscribe button. Remember, we are doing the dual thing, PRTv and Pax and Row TV. You're eventually going to move over to PRTv. We ain't got enough subscribers on there, so make sure you do. We've got to start getting stuff in the descriptions, but we're going to start putting them all in there so you can just, if you're watching on PRTv, make sure, something fell over there. Make sure you subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, go over and subscribe, but you might not know where, so we're going to put all those details in. Anyway, enough talking. Let's get on with the show. So, season started. How is it for you, Sid?
It's only one game in.
The voice of reason. The voice of reason.
No, we've got a few new players in. Seems to be a change in the monarchy in terms of on the playing grounds. Not so much the owners, but we've got rid of a few players. We've got plenty to get rid of. We need to do what Chelsea are doing to get maximum dollars for some of these youngsters, academy players or whatever. I think that Lewis Hall or whatever, he's like 28 million to Newcastle today. We can't even give our ones away for free, and these are like proven Premiership players. Hopefully, Postecoglou will sort this out before the end of the window. Most of the players will go. We've got new players in. We've got a way of playing football now. It seems like we're not going to be boring, seeing games out, getting booed, whatever. It seems like there's going to be some entertaining football. It's not going to be fluid yet until he's got his whole system in, but we're going in the right direction, and guess what, the only way is up.
Missed that. I think there's a categorical difference from night and day from what we was last season, and the improvements have been seen in terms of the football. Yes, there's things that need to be done. There's a few players in terms of they need more time. There's a few players that I'm like, for me personally, that I'm like, not so sure at the moment, but all is good because there is an identity. I think the biggest thing for me is there is an identity in terms of the playing. I'm not sure about the transfer identities yet because we ain't got rid of no players, and that's a problem for me. We'll get into that. But in terms of the playing staff that's currently there, you can see that there's definitely been improvement. Some players that I talked about last season are now completely different. I was under Conte. Basuma was a League One player for me. He looked terrible, awful, and I knew he wasn't. But he's now worldy, as he's been showing since pre-season. Sean, how's it been for you?
Yes, it's been, as you say, night and day, really, hasn't it? I mean, the change in the philosophy, the change in how they approach the game, the fact that there's a new sheriff in town who seems to be winning people over. And didn't need to win me over because I saw how he transformed Celtic up here. But I think it's good that the season's underway. There are going to be bumps in the road. I do fear that one of them might be Saturday. However, people who said they watched the Man U game on Monday assure me that United were no great shakes compared to us against Brentford. So we'll see. I'm looking forward. I'm going to be down at the game. Lots to contemplate and think about. There's a protest to attend. There's a TIFO in the South Stand, which I'll be amongst. And it's a new broom. We've got Bissouma back, the Bissouma that we bought from Brighton, not the one that was killed by the Turin troll last season. We've got Maddison, who looks absolutely mustard. And I just want a ball to go off of Richie's knee into the net, and maybe that'll just set him on his way, and that'll make my day come Saturday.
Yeah, 3 players for me that are standouts at the moment who started on Saturday. Basuma's one of them. Madison was definitely another one. Third one for me was Destiny Deji. I think he was absolutely fantastic. I think left-sided player, 20 years of age, 21, whatever he is, playing in that inverted, they call it inverted, playing on the inside sort of fullback position, playing in midfield like he'd been playing there for ages, calm on the ball, strong on the ball, strong off the ball in terms of keeping players away, had to deal with pace on both sides, in that game. You saw what happened to Emerson. I don't recall him getting beaten so easily on that other side. So he's got pace about him. And I think he's a threat for goal. We've seen that in pre-season. So it's all the good signs for him. As I said, Maddison, his numbers speak for itself. Two assists in the game at the weekend. He's going to be a player that's going to score goals and create goals for us this season, and we're going to need that. We do need someone to put it in the back of the net, though. We had 2 goals from defenders over the last game. Richarlison does need to get something. I think we did this in the preview shows. I think he's got about 5 games for me to actually prove his worth in terms of goal scoring. We know what he's got in terms of his ability off the ball. He's harrying down, but ultimately, the currency is goals. If you're playing as a striker, don't care what else you do, you've got to score goals. So that's what we've got to see from him next. And I think that he'll do that. He's not Brazil's number 9 for no reason, but he needs to be our number 9 this season. It needs to start fairly soon. What's your thoughts on Son as the captain, Sean?
To me, that was the logical choice. I mean, as the captain of his country for a number of years now, the fact that he is the poster boy of the football club, it made great sense. Certainly, what I do like about the appointment of Son and his deputies is that there's been people who were expected to be there and are not there. And maybe that's a little shot across their bows to say, you're not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed to start here this season. And maybe you might need to think about looking to move on. But very happy with Son. Obviously, there was problems with the front line on Sunday, wasn't it? Sunday, yeah. You alluded to that, Sam. I mean, I do feel for Postecoglou's project to work properly, the thing that made it work for Celtic and I think in other clubs is that he had wingers who hugged the touchline but were able to go outside and inside their players. We've got 2 guys who are inverted, who are naturally going to come inside. And I think that's going to be a problem. That is going to be a problem. You don't see Kulu going round the outside to try and cross with his right foot. You don't see Son going round the outside to cross with his left foot. And that's a problem. That is a problem for Ange's system to work. I do think Solomon might actually be a better option on the right as he's right-footed and can go around the outside or come inside. On the left, I mean, we do have someone who would be archetypal for Ange Postecoglou. The trouble is he's injured, and that's Brian Hill, who can go outside and inside. So those are little teething problems. I've had another look at Vicario, and I can't understand the shade that you were throwing on him. He was, apart from one shaky touch with his first, I think he dealt with everything adequately. And he's a project goalkeeper, right enough, but I don't think he gave me any fear. I just think people have really got to get their Raya fixation out of their system. You know, was Raya worth 40 million, making him more expensive than Ederson? Nah, he's not. He's not better. He's not better than Ederson. Don't give me that. So yes, I think we've got a great start at a difficult place to go. A team that beat the champions home and away last year. We got a point. We had 70% possession away from home. 20 odd shots. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm looking forward to a continuation of that on Saturday. Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, I said, I respect your opinion on the goalkeeper. For me, the jury's out on him. And it's not because of the game that was on Sunday. It's because of what I've seen in terms of the pre-season. Now, he's not kept a clean sheet yet. Not to say that's his fault. I'm not saying at all. Because our defence is properly needs to be sorted out. The fact that Mickey van der Ven's there and Romero, if they play together, will be a great centre-back pairing. But I've seen things in the keeper that reminds me of Galini. I don't think he's at that level where he's going to play like Galini. But the thing about the keeper is, yes, he needs time. I've seen what's happening with Onana at Man United. They're already getting onto him. And he was supposed to be this really world-class keeper. Now he's come into a league, not played in this division before, not played in the Premier League. It's tough. You cannot afford to get it wrong at the keeper for too long. It's all right, Richarlison not scoring goals after 5-10 games, but you can't have a keeper that doesn't keep a clean sheet in 10 games. It's just impossible, because that will mean we're in a big problem. Now, again, it's not his fault, but there was fundamentals about how, you know, he's coming out to crosses. When De Gea came into the Premier League, yes, he was doing the same thing, but that's Man United. They were still winning things at the time. We're not in that position. Do you know what I mean? We're not in that position. So he's got a little bit of time for me, but not that much. He ain't got that much time. He needs to get something right. Sid, what's your thoughts on the players that played and how you thought they did on Sunday?
We touched on it, didn't we, on the reaction show? I said to you, I'm happy. Yeah, the guy's only had Vicario's only had one game. He's had pre-season, yeah, fair enough. But you know what? Clean sheets, you've got to have a good defense in front of you, and
Of course,
no matter who's playing in front of you, you know what? If you concede, then you concede. But it's not. You're not going to save every single thing, no matter what defense is in front of you. All the top clubs have done it. The Madrids, the Barcelonas, they've had the best defenders in the world, but you still concede goals. You know, it happens. It's part of football. But you have to give Vicario time. You know, this is a Premiership. And like you said, Sam, I totally understand what you're saying as well, Sean. He's had one game in the Prem. He's just got to get used to it now. He's you know, and he will. He's got a manager.
Listen, before we get into any sort, I'm not saying Vicario out. Don't get me wrong. All I'm saying is you cannot have the same amount of time for a goalkeeper in our situation to get prepared for the season. We're going to have so much of the ball, 70% possession on average at Celtic, Postecoglou, 70% possession in the game against Brentford away from home. So the likelihood is we're going to have a lot of the ball. The keeper's not likely to have a lot of shots saved. But what he does need to have is that concentration that when that one opportunity that might get, he needs to be calm, assured, and the defence can see all that. But vice versa for him, he needs to be assured that the defenders in front of him are doing their jobs. At this moment in time, for me, I ain't seen enough of that through pre-season to give me that warm and fluffy feeling that everything's all right. We get more players in, get the defence sorted, I will be able to see if he is that player. Because when you have one shot faced in one game and you make that save, brilliant. If you face one shot and you score and they score from it, well, we're going to have to see. It's not all his fault, and I'm not saying there is any blame. I've got certain reservations about some things I've seen pre-season throughout. Come Saturday, I hope he keeps a clean sheet. I hope we batter Manchester United, but there's going to be a test there because they are going to get opportunities to score based on their transition play. That's all I'm saying about it.
Yeah, you know, pre-season is all about fitness. It's just about getting the players fit and ready for the Premiership. Results to me and performances, it does matter. Not results, but performances do matter. But it's confidence. it's all about confidence and getting the thing right with the rest of the players. It will come with Vicario. It will come, and he'll get stronger. He'll get better. In terms of what you were saying, Sean, about Edison and Raya is nowhere near on any levels compared to Edison. But in terms of the fee, 40 million, you've got to pay what the player is worth or what somebody is willing to pay. Brentford held us to ransom. They wanted 40 million. He's gone for 3 million plus 27 million add-ons over whatever years. So Brentford weren't going to sell to us. You can tell that clearly, right? Because 30 million, we would have probably been all over that, but they didn't want to sell to us. So you know what? He's gone. Let him go and sit on the bench. Good for him. He's gone from number one to a bench man. So let him be a bench warmer. 5 kg, 10 kg, whatever he wants to bench, let him bench. In terms of like the Van der Vens and all the other players, I think one game in, they're all getting used to this system. They're all getting used to playing with each other. And I think it'll take a couple of games, but Postecoglou knows exactly what he's doing. We've got a transfer window ending in 14 days. I'm sure there's going to be more incomings. He knows these central defenders there's ingoings. But 3 or 4 teams are after Sanchez today, I hear. Monaco being one of them. If I was Daniel Levy, I probably wouldn't sell to Monaco, and I probably wouldn't buy Tosin again because he didn't want to come to us. He wanted to go to Monaco. Monaco didn't want to buy Sanchez because they were after Tosin. So both of them, we can, they can go and do one. Good game on Saturday. It's going to be a tough game for everyone. I know what's going to happen, and what I don't want to happen is people getting onto players' backs if the result is an away win or whatever, which when we do the stats tomorrow on the preview show, Sam, you'll understand what I'm talking about because it'll be
It's Manchester United. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. And the stats and what we normally do on the preview show, you'll be like, okay, fair enough. But it's all positives for me anyway. We played well against Brentford away. Sean touched up on it. No team goes to Brentford at their ground and come out easily with a win. It's a hard-fought game. Whether they've got Tony or not Tony, that is the question. But it is, and we got a point. They beat City twice over last season. So the jury's out, like you said, yeah, but we've got to back our players 100% and we've got to back the system. We've got to back everything. And you know what? We just move on. We get stronger. We get better. And there's every sign that there's players that want to play for the shirt, and we're going to get stronger and we're going to get better. And the unity's there now within them. He's gone. Thank you very much. See you later. We move on. Simple. He's done. Kane's done and dusted now. That's it. Let's go. Let him do his sketches or whatever he wants to do. Poor Jamie Redknapp's going to be out of a job now because Kane's taken over the sketch advertising. But he's gone. Move over. Let's talk about the future and the current now.
Did any of you lot see the interview? I haven't seen it. The one that he's done exclusively for Sky the other day. I haven't seen it, so I'm going to take you guys for it. Was he, I don't know, apologetic? I don't know. I don't know any context about it. Was it just a case of like, yeah, I'm at Bayern Munich now. Thanks for the memory. See you later, Spurs. Or was it a case of tinge of sadness?
He didn't actually mention Tottenham.
He didn't.
He didn't mention Tottenham. He just justified why he went to Bayern Munich. I want to win major trophies. It means the Champions League, which he's going to be in every season. I want to feel the pressure of having to win titles. I mean, if anything, that's throwing shade at the board, who never created a team that wanted to win championships. Have you ever heard Daniel Levy say, "I want to win the league"? No. Yeah. So, I mean, it's done and dusted. Thanks for the memories, Harry. But you're in our past now, and we need to move on. One last word on Vicario: a penalty and a shot he was stopping, which Van der Ven deflected past him on Sunday.
Yeah, so, that's my point. He's not going to have many shots on him. Hopefully, that's what I don't want to see him peppered. No shot, because that means there's something wrong with our defense and the way we're playing. And Postecoglou's style of play doesn't allow that. Shouldn't do.
Other debutants were absolutely brilliant. Jodi was a colossus. Van der Ven was excellent once he got the handle of it. He had a shaky first 20 minutes, I'd say, but he really grew into the game. Maddison was Maddison. He was just fantastic. Basuma was, as we say, is reborn. Royale was Royale, you know. I mean, he seems to be getting praised when, you know, he's doing no look passes. It was a typical Royale thing. A fantastic nutmeg. I don't know if you've seen the compilation that he's put out. It was a fantastic nutmeg, but there was a no look pass. There was a caught in possession, conceding the ball outside their box, which they transitioned and got down the field from us. So, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully he's learned, you know, not to dilly and dally about. To me, he just puts his foot on the ball too often. It needs to be moved quicker, faster. And I'm sure Ange will be reminding him of that at Hotspur Way all week.
Yeah. Emerson Royal, he would have been gone from this club had Conte had his way, I think. He decided that he wants to fight for his place, and good on him. Good on any player that doesn't want to be forced out, but wants to fight for their place and doesn't just want to sit on the bench, but actually wants to improve himself. I've got time for. I ain't got time for the likes of people like Harry Maguire, who clearly doesn't want to go because he doesn't want to get less money, and he's not bothered if he plays because I think he's going to play for him. That's another story anyway. But in terms of Emerson, it's not his position, that inverted style. The reason I'm saying that, he can defend, but if he's going to play in that area, he's also got to be offensive in terms of what he does. Yes, he scored a goal and he's popping up in the right places. And yes, I like the fact that he's getting into them areas, but that creativity, that sort of like, if he was Trent Alexander-Arnold in that position and had his defensive skills as well, I'd be like, we've got a world in our hands. Obviously, that's the case. But if you play that high up, and as Brentford showed you, if they've got a winger that's properly snippy, and he was quick, was Rico Henry, you've got to be right. I anticipate that that's going to go over to my head, and I've got to drop back quicker than what he did. I know they want to hold the line, but if you ain't got enough pace, Van der Ven can hold the line brilliantly, no problem. I think Romero can do that. He's got enough pace. For me, if you're up against a real speed merchant on that wide area, you really got to anticipate more. That's what Destiny Udogie did, and he's only 21, and he's only been with us since July. That's what I'm saying about players who you can see they're going to do something because they've shown it. Van der Ven, we can see after bloody 90 minutes that he's going to be a player because he's got that sensibility about how his position is going to be. He knows he can play high because he's got his pace to get back. He can recover. He can be strong. He can win in the air. That one where they tried to say it was a penalty, that was a bloody great touch. Do you know what I mean? He got a good touch, and the ball was no penalty. I just think if you're going to play the inside wing backs, you've got to have ability. Now, Porro, I think, has got more ability to cross the ball and probably create more, but his defending is woeful. So, rock and a hard place. I think Emerson deserves a spot. Who else did you think, apart from the ones that we've mentioned, have we got time for going forward this season? Because the other player I think is going to really do well is Papa Sarr. I think he's going to be awesome this season for us. No?
Yeah, I think Papa Sarr. I mean, he's clearly liked by Ange. He's talked him up. To be fair, he's talked up Skip as well, but he's talked up Papa Sarr. He said that and Papa Sarr's been given a great interview on the tour, and he sort of said that how Basuma's helped him settle, that they're thick as thieves now, and he seems to have grown even more. You know, he's a bit of a, he's like a Vieira style player now. You know, he seems to have filled out. He doesn't make many mistakes. I'm sure he's going to get his share of games. I mean, I would like to see him playing in the position that Skip was in on Saturday. If we're going to go effectively with the same team, obviously we're waiting on concussion protocols for Romero to see whether he's going to play. But yeah, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? I mean, going back to your thoughts on Porro, we spent the whole of the January transfer window trying to get that so-and-so in. £45 million or whatever it's costing us. And I wonder whether if Spence had something about him, whether it would be Royale and Spence who would be at that position.
I tend to agree with you. I personally don't. You can't obviously say that because I'm not privy, but I'm not sure Postecoglou fancies Porro as much as we would like to fancy Porro because of what we spent on him. Defensively, we've seen the weaknesses in Emerson, but there's more weaknesses in Porro defensively because through pre-season he was culpable for a lot of the play down that side and getting away from him. But offensively, yes, we know he can cross. But if you're going to be playing on the inside position, you don't need as much whipping crosses around. So you need to be more, creative in terms of how you play people in. Yes, you might do the odd cross into the far post from that position, but what you're looking for is slid balls in behind. You're looking for the sort of a Maddison type play in that role, but not obviously of that quality. If you watch a Deji from that game, he did exactly that. He kept it, everything was neat and tidy, but when he looked he made them runs, but he also made incisive passes into the players. If he starts scoring as well, we've got a massive player on our hands with Deji, and I know he's already done that. We need to batten down a few positions, but again, with coaching, I think Postecoglou will get a lot of these players better. I'm even seeing improvements in our friend Davinson King. You know what I mean? Davinson King is what I'm now going to nickname him. I am with a little bit of tongue in cheek on that, but obviously, of a bad bunch of defenders that we've got left, I would say he was the best of that bunch. I wouldn't want to see Dyer playing the two in that back line. How do you feel Sanchez? Do you think he's going to develop in this team as a maybe a go-to if things like what happened on Sunday happened with Romero or anything else happened to one of the players, unless we get other players in, of course?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that he was going to be, after his performance in Barcelona and his performance on Sunday, I thought he was going to be kept on. But obviously today, the media is full of people, including Monaco, who are interested in him. I see Monaco have had a £8.5 million bid for Tosin, turned down by Fulham. So, they're not exactly shopping, at Premiership prices at 8.5 million, are they? So I don't know what Fulham are looking for him, but they're certainly not going to sell him for 8.5 million. So I think that was a Levy-like bid, I think, by Monaco. So who knows? Who knows? I mean, everything's been turned upside down by Chelsea. The actions of Chelsea. I mean, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Anyone under the age of 21 and they find out their release clause and they just put it in, and good on Alisi for saying, no, I want to fight for my place. I want to stay at Palace where I'll get games. I might not get games at Chelsea. So good for him. But Chelsea and the Saudis are the disruptors at the moment. It's very difficult to sell when you've not got very sellable assets. And it's very difficult to buy when the prices that have been asked are astronomical.
And she's here. She's got lovely hair as well today. Not to say you don't have lovely hair all the time, but that's lovely today, Pav.
She looks like one of Charlie's Angels.
We'll come back to you in a minute because you squeeze a little bit dodgy and you now just done that thing again where
she's frozen.
Yeah, you need to sort out your internet, man. Get off dial-up. Sid, we were talking about Leslie Sanchez. She's laughing. She's going to be about 2 minutes behind us now. We're talking about Leslie Sanchez. Do you think we'll keep him or is he going to have to go?
Like I mentioned before, there's a few bids coming for him because I think everybody saw how wonderful and how Paolo Maldini, he was against Barcelona. So that performance, I think, has escalated him to certain teams now that are more interested. But I think listening to Postecoglou, I think Ben Davies is in the shout. I don't think Ben Davies is going to be going. I think he's going to use him as, if we get another centre back, then I think Ben Davies will stay, and I think we'll get rid of Sanchez and Dyer. And that's what I reckon, because I think Sanchez is not going to hang around with just the odd game here and there. If a decent bid comes in for him or a decent club that he thinks he can go and do well at, I think he'll have to move. And Poster won't stand in his way. Dyer can obviously go. If that £500,000 bid from Saudi is true as rumours, then I'm sure somebody will take him there for free and drive him to the airport. But I think he's gone. The only problem is like what Sean said. Chelsea are getting rid of players for stupid amount of money, right? Where we can't even get £5 million for established players that have been playing in the Prem for years and year up. But I hope Ange Postecoglou sits down and says, "Do you know what? I don't want them anymore at my club. They gotta go. They've sat at my Tottenham Hotspur Football Club for enough years, took enough wages. I've got 39 or 40 players on my books. I need to get rid. And if they ain't gonna play, then I don't want them at my club. Simple as." So let's see. 14 days to go. It's developing stories. Let's see what happens. But I'm hoping.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you in a minute, Pav. Sorry, you sorted your internet out now. You're looking like you're all right now. You're not pausing, so that's good. What I don't understand about this Dier thing, if that £500,000 bid is true, why can't we just release him from his contract then? He's only got a year left. We're going to pay him more than 500, aren't we? In terms of wages for the year. Surely that doesn't make any sense. Just release him, let him go on a free. If they're going to take him, if they put money into, then surely they're interested in that player. So I can't understand the finances on that one from a Spurs perspective. If they don't just release him.
I'll tell you what it is. Daniel Levy. He doesn't want anyone to go on a free. He wants to get money, regardless of what you're saying, Sam, is logical. Why keep a player whose wages we're going to keep paying? If a £500,000 bid comes in, let him go. That wages is off the thing. Daniel Levy's not thinking that. He'd rather carry on paying the equivalent of whatever he's getting paid and try and get £501,000 for him. But in the offset, he's paid him £3 million in wages. He's not thinking that way. He wants maximum money for the players that he's got. When we all know some of them players that are on the transfer list, we ain't going to get Jack Diddley. So, unfortunately, that's what we got to deal with.
Don't make any sense though. Pav, just go, all right, welcome Pav. Lovely head Pav. You might have to do different nicknames and different acronyms when you come on. You know what I mean? Lovely head Pav. That's a good one. The transfer windows, Chelsea are making a mockery of it and so are the Saudis, by the way. They're making a mockery of football currently in terms of where it's going to go. I'm hearing about potentially them getting a wild card in for the Champions. Again, these are all rumours. Whether they've got substance, I don't know, but we'll soon find out. And I made a little bit of a sarky comment. Oh, that's why it's called the Champions League now, not the European Cup anymore, because you can introduce wild cards like this. You can introduce a Saudi team or a China team, and it's Champions League. It ain't the European Cup anymore. That's just me. But our transfer policy is being hampered in terms of players out by what we're seeing. Chelsea handing out 8-year contracts, 9-year contracts. The Saudis giving millions of pounds just for tweeting stuff and stuff. You know what I mean? It's getting silly. So these players now who aren't going to get that Saudi money, particularly there's a number of players who would love to go to Saudi. And I'm pretty sure that if Dier was offered the opportunity to earn 5-10 times what he's earning now, I'm pretty sure he's going to take that opportunity to do that. So if somebody's offered 500 grand for him from a Saudi nation, if that's true, why don't we just release him?
I know, I don't understand what's going on with the transfer window, to be honest. I think it's very, very bizarre, and I don't know what's going through Levy's brain. And I think, same as what Sid said, I think Levy just is all about the money. He just wants money, and that is it. But it doesn't work like that sometimes. Sometimes the players want to see out their contract and go on a free. Sometimes that's what happens. And Levy's, there's something there going on with Dier. We obviously know with the chaos that's happening at the moment, and he wasn't even in the squad last week. If it is true with him going to Saudi, bye-bye, see you later, adios. You're not going to be missed. Do you know what I mean? So I don't get what's going on. Why don't you just walk away now? If you've got an offer there, take it. You're not going to get the game time. You might as well just go. I don't get what's holding him back or what's holding the club back. And there's even other rumours going on that, like, you know, like we have to get rid of the dead wood before we buy other players, which is, yeah, fair enough and stuff. But why aren't we seeing anything happening? I don't get it. We've got till the 1st of September, I think it is, till the transfer window closes. And people are saying, yeah, you know, oh, we've still got 2 weeks or whatever. But in those 2 weeks, think about it. We've got so much still to do and we're not seeing any action being done. They're all just rumours. We're not seeing anything being done at all. And I feel like in Levy's brain, what he's going to do is he's going to leave it to the last minute. We're not going to get a replacement for Kane. We're not going to get the players that we want, and we're going to buy shit players, and then we are totally effed.
Strong there, Pav.
I mean, I can understand the issue about paying players up and what have you, and getting rid of them. It is expensive, you know. It is expensive, you know. It's not like you're gonna. I mean, there is. Someone was saying that there's two terminology. There's a mutual agreement where the player doesn't get all his money, or it always terminated, and then he gets his full money. And it really probably if you're Dyer, you're on pretty good wage. I think you must be on over 100 grand. I'd thought you'll want your whole shooting match. I didn't see anyone that had made this offer for Dyer, so you know I'm behind the eight ball when it comes to that. I mean, I saw the stuff about Sanchez. Reguilon is close to agreeing terms with Sociedad, but you know it's not. I mean, Pav has knocked it right on the head. You know, Levy wants some money. He does. You know, look at how difficult it is. He's been with Lloris and Lazio. He wants money. And the thing is, it makes him look bad. It makes the club look bad. It gives us a bad reputation, and teams won't deal with us. And that's probably part of the reason Brentford wouldn't sell Raya to us, because we've effed them about in the past. And I think he is causing us more. And perfect storm, isn't it? Where's our chief football officer? Unable to start till September. Where's the director of football that they're talking about? Can't start till September. When does the transfer window end? 1st of September. Honestly, this guy is so incompetent. He's so incompetent. He's going to F it up for Ange, and Ange is going to take him longer to get to the point, as he was saying, as he's promised us, that we'll be scaring opposition. Because he's going to leave us 2 or 3 players short.
Didn't he say Lloris can go on a free because of the service he's given us? He's going to allow him to go for free, and he's not going to ask for a transfer fee. Has that changed now then? Because as far as I'm aware, they put a statement out saying we're going to allow him to go.
Is that they want a fee out of Lazio.
Wow, that sums him up, doesn't it? Absolutely.
I mean, it's more grist to the mill for the protest on Saturday. That's all I can think. You know.
Yeah.
If you've got the love of Tottenham like we all have in your hearts, on Saturday you've got to at least show up for a wee while outside that ticket office.
Right. So this came to United. Thank you for watching. It's expensive to release him. Right. I get that. If there's no offer for a player and you release a player, you have to pay up their contract. So let's just say he's on 100 grand a week. He's got a year left. 5.2 million. For the year. Yeah, that's what you'd have to pay him if he stays for his contract. But somebody puts a £500,000 bid in and he accepts to go to wherever, if it's Al Hilal, until you can talk about it more, you don't have to pay him his wages because he goes. They then take his wages up. So it doesn't cost you to pay him 5.2. You actually get 500,000 and no wages. So you're saving £4.7 million, if it makes sense if he goes today. So I don't understand the Lloris thing. If he said he can go for free, but now we want to wait, because that's exactly the same scenario. He's got a year left. You don't take anything from him. He just says, okay, I won't go anywhere. You have to pay him. You can't not pay him. But if you get a bid for him, you accept it. You don't pay him from the point that he goes. So you're win-win in that situation. If that is true, and there's some fundamental flaws going on in that boardroom, and I can't understand how that could be if these are all business people in that area. They're just not very bright.
But the thing is with Hugo as well is he's not even going to get in that squad. He's already been sold, right? So then, what's the point of keeping a player who's not going to get in the squad? He's just going to be sat there, working from home, as everyone else does. Yeah, working from home for a year on free, because that's what it's going to be, and we're going to pay him. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's ridiculous, but let's see what happens. Let's see. As you know, like I said, and we've all said it. 14 days to go. Let's see what happens.
Sean, what do you think is going to happen in the next 14 days? Ingoings, outgoings, just as a general. Do you think we're going to have many outgoings, and do you think we're going to have many incomings? I know the names. There's all kinds of names going around, but Postecoglou said it himself. The squad's bloated. And he was talking up to a number of 10 players that potentially have to go. Not have to, but to get that squad down. And we could probably go through and name a lot of those players. But realistically, what are we going to get done in 14 days?
At this rate, not very much. I mean, honestly, we've got the most incompetent people in charge of our transfer, or the most incompetent person in charge of our transfer strategy at the moment, and our window. He couldn't get his way out of a wet paper bag, and he's been, he's. I think, as I say, I do feel that he's so enraged previous, other regimes that they won't deal with him. And our Brentford won, Man United have won, Chelsea in the past won. They're just. He's so pernickety that probably Inter Milan won't deal with us over the Eriksen deal. Remember that dragged on and on and on. He just can't accept that the players are done and they're finished. They've got no value, and all they're doing is dragging down the team. The man does not know how to run a sports team. He's fine, as a quantity surveyor, buildings, but in charge of a football team, oh God, it just drives you to distraction. I think the most we get is 2 players in and 5 out, maybe. And then the others will have to be paid off.
It's not that you can't have these players at the club, but what I'm saying is for the way that Postecoglou likes to have you can see already, we're about a collective. There's no individuals as such. It's a collective here. So I don't think he was, obviously, Harry Kane's world-class striker, but I don't think he's crying in his pillow at night because Harry Kane's gone. We've got money for him. I think he can deal with that. And I think he said it himself. He knew he was going. It was just a matter of time. But what I don't think he can deal with is you can't deal with players who want to play or players who don't want to play but just around. People like Ndombele, he's giving him a chance now. We're not seeing anything of him. I don't think he's injured, but he's now. What's going to happen with him? Is he just going to be knocking around, training with them? Is he going to be training with under 21s? What's going to happen? Are they going to create a separate environment for these other players? Because I've done coaching. You can't coach 40 players. You can't. You just can't do. You can't do sessions with 40 players. You have to break it down. You have to do patterns of play. You have to do in areas of the pitch where you work with your group of players, which will be 20, 25 players if it's the squad. The goalkeepers, if there's 3 of them, will go and do something else. So you might have 22 outfield players that you work with when you can do your 11 aside sort of stuff, and you can do your 7 aside. You got 40 players that all come in trotting out. It's just a mare. That's not fair on Ange. That's definitely not fair on him to have to deal with that situation. So they've got to help him out. They've got to give him, right, we're going to do this for you. Now, whether those conversations have been had, I don't know, but it's getting late in the day. It's getting late in the day. For me, there's 10 players that could go, that he could easily go. And they're talking about they have to release players before we can bring players in. I'll ask the same question of you then, Sid. How many do you think is going to go? And are we going to, the talk of this Gift Oban and strikers like this, are we going to get these players in?
Listen, Gift Oban is going to be the situation that we've had with Vlahovic, with Tapsoba, all them lot. It's going to be cut and mouse in terms of fees, because it's going to be, we're going to offer 30, they're going to want 40, then it's going to be 40, 35, they'll say 45. That one is going to go on. I don't know.
And then he signs for Chelsea here.
and then he signs for Chelsea. No, he doesn't sign for Chelsea because we're not Liverpool. It's only if you're Liverpool that he signs for Chelsea. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, and I don't know. There's mixed bags about him. I don't know how good he is. I don't know whatever. Is he going to be another Sergei Rebrov kind of a buy thing? We don't know. But I agree with exactly what you've said, what Sean have said. We've got to get rid of a lot of players. Because I don't think Angie's going to be, like you said, Sean and Sam, if we've got 39 players or whatever on the books, he won't want all them on the books.
I'm telling you now, you can't. You can't deal with it. You can't.
Exactly. You can't. And we're not Chelsea where we can just get rid of them for stupid prices. So they've got enough to sit down and as a collective put all their brains together. I don't want between the 4 or 5 of them, they've probably got half a brain, or if any. But they're going to have to sort something out because, you know, all this, then you know what he's going to say, don't you? We've got too many on the books. We can't get rid of players. We don't have any money. We don't have the wages. We've got too much going out on wages. We can't afford to buy anyone. Blah, blah, the usual. But we're going to have to. Now, Ange has said, in terms of going out, there's about 6 or 7 that he wants out. Sean's already said Reguilon might be going. You got Sanchez, then there's Dyer, there's Spence. Højbjerg's apparently on the brink. So there's a few that need to go out. In terms of coming in, he's already said he wants a centre-back and a striker and a midfielder. So there's 3 to come in. Whether we get the 3, I don't know. Me personally, I think we'll probably get 1, knowing Daniel Levy and his negotiations. Because if his transfers dealings in previous has got to go by, we've got 14 days. And we know he likes to take about 6 weeks to start with all this messing around with defenders and prices and all that. So in 14 days, unless they've already got something up their sleeves, without a director of football, without anyone, you know, I haven't got a clue. Because like Pav said, there's no noises going on about potential incomings apart from Gift Orban, striker. And I think that's just the press, because we got rid of Kane, just selling stories. So they're just making stories to say Spurs are after a striker because they need a striker desperately. That's what I reckon it is. I think behind the scenes, I don't think there's anything going on unless they shock me and actually go and buy someone.
Okay. I'll ask Pav this first question. I'll ask all of you that. If we don't make any more signings and we don't get rid of any more players now, let's say because of whatever reasons we don't, how's that going to affect Ange Postecoglou, Pav?
Big time. He clearly has a vision. He clearly knows what we need, right? And if he's not backed and he doesn't get what he wants, he's not going to know what to do. And he's going to be left with the players that he's got right in front of them to make them work, right? And he already sees there's a clear, obvious reason as to why he's saying, you know, he needs to get rid of players. There's going to be a lot of outgoings. And if that doesn't happen, he is stuck with those potential outgoings to make them work for him and for his system, right? If we don't get a centre-back, we're completely effed. If we don't get a replacement for Kane, we're going to have to rely on Richarlison and Son, or even that 19-year-old kid that we've signed or whatever, and we don't get a midfielder, he is then stuck with the players that he has got to try and get them up to his standard to make them work within his system. And he can already see that it's not working. He's seen it in training. He's seen their previous, games that they've played or whatever, and he can clearly see that it doesn't work. And if he's stuck with them, there's going to be pressure on him to try and get the team together with what he's got in his hand. And that's just not going to work. He's going to find it difficult. He's going to struggle with the pressure. And then he's going to be like, F this, like, I don't know what to do. And then it will be up to the January window. And God knows what's going to happen with that. I personally don't think that we're going to get the players that he wants. I think maybe we'll get one signing, like Sid said, and that is it. And I think we'll get a couple of outgoings, but it won't be a lot, as much as Ange wants. Because I know what Levy in his brain is thinking. I don't want to spend that much money. He just wants to keep the money. He doesn't want to spend it as much. And he's just going to sit there and wait till the end of the window and get someone rubbish in. That's probably what's going on in his brain right now. And it's going to be pressure on Ange, and it's not fair on him, and it's not fair on us for sitting here waiting, not knowing what the hell is going on. The season's already started. What the hell is going on? We've not got a replacement. We need another centre-back. We don't know what's going on with that. And we need a midfielder. We need to sort out our defence. It is shocking. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And I feel so sorry for Ange, because he's got this pressure now. He's come in and he's seen the squad and he's like, oh my God, like, what is this? And he can see and pinpoint what needs to, improve and stuff. But if he's not getting what he wants, how can he improve us? Just doesn't make sense.
See, we got a doggy in. That was already done deal. Obviously, the deals that we've got, Maddison, Vicario, yep, needed that. We got Van der Ven in late, wasn't pre-season. And obviously, we've got the players coming back from loan. Effectively, our transfer business, then, if you think about it, has been, yes, we've got Maddison. That was probably the buy of the transfer window, in my opinion, to get him. But that was always like to happen because Leicester went down. And I think we were interested in him anyway, so we went out to do that. We didn't get the defenders in straight away. We've got one in. Now, I keep saying we're one injury away from problems here, as we've seen. Romero got injured 15, 20 minutes into the game, had to come off the pitch for whatever reason, whether he comes back this weekend. I'm hoping to God that he does. But you can see, we've seen what's happened to Timber from Arsenal. One injury away from a massive problem if you don't get that sorted. Now, what I think's happening in my head, and I'm trying to work it out because I don't understand how you cannot prioritize the weakest area of your thing first. Yes, you've got some players in, but you haven't prioritized it. Is I'm thinking that Daniel Levy's probably thinking to himself, Postecoglou, he's all right, this coach. He might be able to polish some of these turds. He might be able to polish some of these turds here. And what I mean by that is giving some of these players more chances again. Giving Sanchez more chances again. Giving someone like Lo Celso more chances, although he's proved that he can do. Ndombele's. All these players who we've seen do this. They go up and they come down. They're not at the level that we require them, particularly in this type of system. But then we're going to get to the transfer window and say, you know what, we are going to... And we've lost so much time to get things right because we play the way that they're playing, and we're going to see this on Saturdays when we see them play. It's all about the movement and the spaces of where you need to be. That needs work. That's constant drilling on the training pitch, constant drilling. And yes, we can see the fruits of it now. But players who don't start with us, who just come in at the end of the transfer window, it's going to be tough because match day's on. And that's how you have to focus. You can do all the stuff, but you've got so much other preparation to do. If you've got 40 players in your squad, you've got to deal with that. You've got to deal with tantrums. There's little cliques in there. There's Spanish-speaking cliques. Now, if Reguilón's not part of the first team and he's still talking with Porro and he's still talking with Romero and all those, and he's saying, oh, I'm not happy in Spanish or whatever, it's going to have an effect on people because, he's my mate, but, I know football have got to be professional. But they're humans at the end of the day. It causes no end of problems internally that we might not see. And it's not fair. It's not fair when we were told that this is now going to be, a rebuild as such. We waited all this time. We all knew Harry Kane was going, but yet the day before we kick off a season, he says bye-bye. That cannot be right. Cannot be right. How do you think he's feeling at the moment, Sean? Based on all this Postecoglou. Yeah.
Do you know what? I'll push back a wee bit on what Pav was saying. He won't worry. He walked into Celtic and they sold Edson Odward on him, who banged in 30 goals for Celtic the previous season. He deals with this chaos. He'll know that comes September the 2nd, he has 25 players because the Premier League say you can only have 25 players. So he'll know if there's any players left over that we haven't got rid of, that's Levy's responsibility. He says, I'm not playing them. I'm not picking them. You can't make me pick them. So he'll just say, this is my team. He'll keep Lo Celso, I'd imagine. He'd keep Sanchez. But Ndombele, I mean, the word is coming out. The guy's not even turning up on time for training. For God's sake, when are we going to just sell this brother and get rid of him?
He can't be sold.
He can't
be sold, Sean.
We'll just pay him off because he clearly doesn't want to be at Tottenham.
we've got him. When did we sign him? 2019, was it? 2019?
Yeah.
2000? 6-year contract. 2025. 200 grand a week. He's not going nowhere.
Look,
it's the same with Maguire. He's not going anywhere.
They said that about Ozil at Arsenal, who's on 300 grand a week. They got rid of him. They paid it off. Yeah, and that's what they've got to do. That's what they're going to. And this and it's on Levy. If Levy's bleating about the money it's costing him, it's on him. It's on him.
Which goes back to that point I made about not accepting offers, if word is to be true, not accepting offers for players, but still wanting to keep them to get money, but you're still having to pay them. It doesn't make any sense. No, it's a false economy. It doesn't make sense.
It's madness. But that's the it's like Levy thinks that he gets a bargain at the end of a window. No, what he doesn't get a bargain. He gets teams digging their heels in and extracting the most money. And he finishes up overpaying for talent, which is, with a rare exception, the Van der Vaart, for example, that doesn't do anything to improve the team. Doesn't do anything to improve the team. I just think it's he's to be honest, I don't think Ange's worried. He's used to chaos. I don't think he's worried. He's waited his time to get to the Premier League. He's enjoying the fact that he's going to get to work with the likes of Maddison and Basuma and things like that. But in the end, there are decisions that have to be made by the boardroom, and he's already got those 11 he started on Sunday. Probably if Romero's available, we'll start again on Saturday.
And I tend to agree with what you're saying about Ange in terms of his personality, his character. I don't think he's going to be bothered per se, but it's not that; it's the outside forces. The media, look what happened with the Harry Kane situation. Yes, he knew he was going, but every single press conference up until that Friday was at least 5 questions about Harry Kane. The start of the interview, and he got to the point where you could see it in his face. Body language doesn't lie. You could see he's like, when are we going to talk about the football that I'm doing with the players that I've already got? Do you know what I mean? And so if we're going to have a situation where we don't get the players and we don't get the striker and we don't get the defenders, all they're going to be saying to him over the course of the season is, this. How's this going? Are you able to manage this amount of players? Who's going to be going in January? And it's a constant thing because January transfer window is going to be the next talking point. I'm so glad that Harry Kane's gone in a sense that we don't have to talk about him anymore, not because of the player, but because we don't have to talk about him. Because if he had stayed, it would have been, is Harry Kane going to sign a pre-contract in January? Is Harry Kane going to do this? Is he going to sign for Spurs? And that's all you'll get. They're still doing bloody interviews of him on Sky. That's how much Sky was like, oh my God, we've lost our talisman in our talking. We've got to still go and interview him by a minute. Fuck that. When does that really happen? When do you see all that stuff happening? Players moving abroad and them still wanting to interview him.
Guess what? They're showing his first game on Friday night.
This is what I'm talking about. They love it. They love this shit. And this is what's going to be constant. I'd be very, very, very surprised if there's not one question that says, how do you think Harry Kane's going to do in his first game? Blah, blah, whoever he's playing. I'd be like, what are we talking about Harry? If I was Harry, what are we talking about him for? Great. He's already said it. He's been a great servant to us and he's always going to be a legend. But why are we still talking about him? It'd be madness. Sid, do you think that Ange is cool, calm and collected as we've kind of discussed, or do you think he's going to start seeing how this media works here in this Premier League?
He knows already how the media works, man. He's only been in charge for a couple of weeks or month. He knows how the media work. He's had it at pre-season. He's had it here. So he's very accustomed to it now and love the answers that he gives. If it's appropriate, he'll answer it. If it's not, he'll tell him straight. So I want to be in that press conference tomorrow if anyone mentions anything about Harry Kane, because I'm telling you now, somebody will probably have to hold him back. Because it's like Sean said, he'll say it as it is. He's not our player. He's gone. Why are you asking me a stupid question for? You don't ask everybody else, Man United and Arsenal and Man City, anybody else.
Do you know what? That's the least of my worries. Have you seen how he's performed in press conferences? Have you seen how Ange performs in press conferences? He'll just make the person look stupid.
Exactly.
So don't worry about that. Don't worry about Ange. Don't worry about him.
That's what I'm saying. There's no need, you know what I mean? There's no worry about it. And God help the person who's got that question lined up, because, boy, you know
I guarantee someone's going to ask.
of course they will.
You know that someone's going to ask that. And if it's the leading question, I want to slap that person. I'd really, because why? Just talk about, man, this is tough enough that we're having to deal with Man United in the second game. Do you know what I mean? For him. Let alone having to still deal with all these bollocks of 40 players. And now we're going to talk about Harry Kane being Bayern Munich, but Sky want to still... He may as well put a Tottenham top on when he does these interviews on Sky. He may as well still have a Tottenham top on. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
And like I said, Sky Sports are going to be reporters are going to be out of jobs at Sky Sports. So they'll send them there just to ask that question. Because if they don't ask that question, then they're going to have a job. So if anyone answers the first question about Harry Kane, it'll be from somebody from Sky Sports. You know that. Or Paul Merson. You know that.
Well, Sky get the first question in the press conference anyway, because they're covering the game. So,
exactly.
But I don't think they will ask about Harry Kane. I think they will.
They will. It's Sky.
No, they won't. No, they won't. They've moved on.
Anyway,
They've moved on.
For every Spurs fan watching, listening, and will be listening and watching later on, I don't know if you guys have you seen the tweet by Maddison?
No.
So James Maddison has put a tweet out, and he said, "I can't wait to experience a home Premier League match day as a Tottenham Hotspur player. A chant would be lovely. No matter how long you've been in the game, every time you hear your name chanted and sung, it's a heartwarming feeling. What song have you got ready for me, Tottenham fans?" That is a question, and that is a challenge for all the Spurs fans on Saturday. Let's get them songs sang for James Maddison, because I'm sure we're all going to sing them anyway, but let's make a song and let's do a chant.
I tell you, if it's anything like the Arsenal songs, because they're very simple, be like Maddison, 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 that's all it'll be.
As long as it's not a rehash of the Christian Eriksen.
Because if you listen to some of them Arsenal songs, that's all they sing. Arsenal, Arsenal. Fuck off.
Yeah. Oh, Maddison, son, Maddison,
you know what I mean?
son. Yeah, of course it's going to be. But somebody will come up with one.
Someone better come up with something better than just don't watch Arsenal, because they're shit at songs. I don't care. We're playing them in September. I don't give a toss. I can't wait to play them, if I'm honest with you. I can't bloody wait. I'm looking forward to that game already. But we've got Manchester United. So, the signs are good. The signs are good for us so far. 70% possession throughout, probably pre-season. A lot of the time we had more than that. Over 100 and odd shots on goal. We had, how many shots did we have? 16. 6 on target for the weekend. Signs are good. Triple the amount of passes, completed passes and stuff like that Brentford had. I feel it's going to be a very similar game. I think Man United, having watched what Wolves did to them, they're going to be thinking, and Ten Hag's no dummy. This is my problem. Ten Hag's no dummy. Heisenberg's going to say, Jesus Christ, if Wolves can do that to us at home, there's no way I'm going to try to get the ball off this lot if Andrew's playing. So they're going to sit back and they're going to have 3 speed merchants up, or possibly play a 4-4-2, or maybe, I'm hoping they don't. If they play a 3, that would be big signs. But I think they're going to try to at least show their fans that they want to win and play a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 of some kind with speedy merchants at the front. So we're going to have to get used to this style of counter-attack with wingers or pacey people up front. Rashford's got pace to burn. Don't think Martial's around. Anthony, I don't really rate him that much, but they can put others in there that can do that sort of job in terms of going up. Sancho's a quick play. You know what I mean? So they've got options in that sense. Quickly, and we'll just do this quickly because said me and City could do the preview tomorrow. How do you think the game's going to go from Angie's first home game experience in the Premier League? Pav?
I think, first of all, I think he's going to love it because it's going to be his first home game and he's going to experience it all and he's going to, be amazed or whatever. But in terms of the game, I think, like you said, I think it's going to be very, very similar. I'm not going to say my prediction yet because I'm still in my brain trying to process it and think about it. But I reckon it's going to be a similar game. I reckon because of their last game, Man United's game, and how shocking they were playing, I think they're going to go full guns and blazes. So, but I think we have an advantage as it's at home and our first home game. So hopefully, fingers crossed, gives us a result.
Yeah, G-Shon, he's already talking about it. Man U fans already talking about targeting role. If that's true, that I would be doing that. I'd have watched that game. I would switch Rashford from that. I'll put him on the left. I'd play, I don't know, somebody else, anybody else down the middle, and I'd play Rashford on the left, and I'd play, what's his name, on the right, Sancho on the right.
Rashford plays on the left anyway.
But he played centrally against Wolves. He was in the middle. I thought he was rubbish against Wolves because he can't really do what he does on that left-hand side in the centre as he does on the left. If he plays on the left against Emerson, we are going to have to be very careful. We're going to have to try and to stop that ball getting across or double up with him, whatever's going to happen, because I don't like that race. I can already see that's not... We saw what we saw what Rashford can do when he's playing really, really well. He is dangerous. I'm hoping that he's not going to be playing that well tomorrow because we're going to have much more of the ball than we've seen in previous times when we had the cheering troll there. So, yeah, I can see that, G-Shon. That's going to probably be the case. United will target the spacing behind. They are more ruthless than Brentford. We need to convert our chances early, kill the game off. We need to minimise the amount of ball that they get, but we also have to be mindful, as you said, good beats. That ball over the top and that ball into them wide spaces in the area, that's going to be our targeted area. Sean, how do you think Andrew's going to take to his first game in charge of the Premier League against Manchester United? Probably. You could get tougher, I guess, but in terms of an established Premier League team, there isn't much more tougher opposition than Man United.
Yeah, Man United and Liverpool are the only teams that haven't lost at our new stadium. So he couldn't have got a worse first home game, but he just embraces it all. You know what I mean? And he'll be working this week, and they'll have things that they've planned, and they'll have traps for United as well. We're a good team. We're a good team. And, honestly, I'm at a disadvantage because I didn't watch their game on Monday. But if they're under par, we can hurt them. Maddison can hurt them. Son can hurt them.
Awful. They were awful. Now,
let's, my feeling is it's going to be narrow. But I've got a feeling my scorecast is 3-2, but I don't know whether it's 3-2 to us or 3-2 to them. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing. So, time will tell. Time will tell.
You know what? If you had watched that game on Monday night, and Sid, I'll let you say a bit. If you'd watched that game on Monday night, Man United were at home. I didn't know. I really didn't know. And I was thinking, what's going on here? Why are Wolves peppering? This is at Old Trafford here. It's called Mold Trafford for a reason.
I remember they'd lost their manager in the week, Wolves.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a new manager. He'd only been in 2 or 3 days.
They were in disarray. Now, they came on and they looked like they'd been training and they had, what's his name, Gary O'Neill. They looked like they'd had him all pre-season. They looked like he was there getting all, because they were doing stuff. It was like, oh, my God. Oh, wow. I don't know how they're going to play with Mount and Fernandes in the team. That they've got to work that out. I don't give a toss. I don't know how they're going to work out what they're going to do in defence if they keep Harry Maguire in the side, because, again, it's the same sort of thing. He's going to be there. He's not going to be like, yeah, that's cool. He's going to be saying things and people are going to be like... So Man United are going to have the same sort of things to deal with as they did last season. Ten Hag isn't the manager that's going to play expansive football with them because he don't have them players. He wants to, but they are a transition team at the moment. They are a transition team, but they're good at it. They are good at it, but they weren't very good on Monday. As we've always talked about, Manchester United and Spurs, they don't mix. They don't really mix well together. I've been up to Man United a couple of times and seen us got wallop. Both times I've been up to Old Trafford. I've seen them wallop us at our own. Do you know what I mean? Man United somehow, regardless of what they've been doing against other teams, even remember that Oli situation when it was, what was it? El Sacchio. It was El Sacchio game. Do you remember El Sacchio? Oh, Jesus. Nuno Espirito de Santos and then Oli and Oli won that, but we actually won the big, we thought we won the big race. We got the cheering troll for a while. Sid, home game. We're going to be all there. What's your thoughts on how Angie's going to take to it?
Oh, sorry, preview show's cancelled tomorrow now because we've just done the preview, so we don't need to do the preview show tomorrow now. I didn't realise the talking points was a preview show as well as Man United's game.
Let's talk about Man United. Just talk about Man United. Sorry.
My thoughts on that will be tomorrow. Join us tomorrow when I will be doing preview show. It's not a talking point. It's a preview show. That's it.
Sid's doing the old professionalism there. Sean, check the crystal ball again, please, from Good Beats.
Wolves if we win 3-2, will you not be happy? I'll be happy.
Yes, I'll be very happy if we win 3-2. I want to see. I like the football. So again, we're going to see. The thing is, we can go to that game on Saturday knowing we're going to play good football, regardless of what the score is. So that's the positive thing about going to any of these games now. I used to get on the train last season and think, oh God, I've got an hour and a half. Then I've got to get on. I've got to get to White Hart Lane. And then I've got to watch that shit. That's how I thought about some of the games last season towards the back end of it. It was awful. And then I always remember when I drove down to some of these games and we lost and it was an evening game. I was thinking, I've got 3.5 effing hours to get back here because it takes an hour and a bit to get out of Tottenham and then another 2-hour drive. It was awful. But I'm not going to be feeling like that even in any defeats because I know that the team will entertain me. Sid has been very professional. He said he's not going to say anything until tomorrow. Evening panel and chat room, the assemble. Thank you for joining us. The Alex Scott appreciation site. We've seen you before. Welcome back.
Bro, is he not winding up the Alex Scott for appreciation now he's on the Bournemouth?
Ro will be better with Sart or Højbjerg ready to come and him if he moves too far forward. Who's injured? Højbjerg?
No, Alex Scott. He got injured, didn't he? For Bournemouth.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
No, poor soul.
Oh, well. Hey-oh. I can't believe Levy is so slow in the transfer market. We have so much deadwood to move on. Good Beats is making laughing emojis there. Andrew will do the same as he always does. He won't change a thing as he believes in what he does. 5-1 to Spurs.
Oh, God. Please, Sammy. Please, yeah. Let me have that.
Time. I think we've reached that in. Lovely head, Pav. Lovely hair, Pav. That is beautiful. Like that a lot.
Now these angels.
Like that a lot. I might do the same. Sid, I think you should do the same tomorrow as well. Just put the tongs in. Put the tongs in, son. Put the tongs in. He's not having it. He's not laughing. He's frozen himself. He's not having it. He's just not biting. I'll try, but he's not. Thank you very much, Pav. Thank you very much, Sean. Sid, thank you very much. It's here. Second game of the season, first home game. Looking forward to it. Yeah, talking points. It's been great. Make sure you smash that like and also subscribe to PRTv, Paxton Road TV. And we'll be doing this regularly. The season is upon us, guys.
Share the stream, folks.
The season is upon us. And
put it on your social media.
Everything. Twitter, X, whatever they call it now, whatever you want to call it. We're all on there. Yes, I like that one. I do like that one, Sid. Right then, that's it, folks. Have a good one. Come on, you Spurs, I guess. Let me try and find the music. Have you got anything? Oh, yeah, you got thanks in there, Sid. He's spot on this guy. He knows his stuff. Anyway, thank you very much. That's it. See you later.